Hello everybody, we are Brigade of Beans, a diagnosed dissociative identity disorder system. My name is Astral, and in this video, I'm going to tell you all about the recent holiday we just had. Good morning everyone, it is 4:30 a.m. on Sunday morning, and we are getting ready to fly to Melbourne. If the camera shakes, it's because Brandy is going to knock the tripod, and I apologise. We slept like shit. We went to bed at around 8 p.m. That's great, we kept waking up. We've been awake since 3 a.m. and we lay in bed for an hour and a half trying to fall back asleep, and it just did not work. So we're up, and we're ready. We're getting picked up at around 5:15. Our suitcase is all packed, and we're very excited. Thoughts before I go. What is 3 things I am scared of, and 3 things I am excited for, and 3 things that I hope for? 3 things that I am scared about. I am scared because we are visiting a city that we have not visited since 2014 and 2015, that we are going to have flashbacks to events we don't currently have access to, and that we're going to have alters front that haven't been around in the last decade and are going to be very confused, and that is going to make the trip unenjoyable and impact our friends. The second thing I'm worried about is that something bad is going to happen to Brandy or Small while I'm away. I just have a lot of anxiety. This is the longest we've ever left them. And even though we know that they're going to be well taken care of, we're just going to be very, very anxious not being with them. And the third thing that we're scared of happening is running out of capacity. We have a lot of events planned already, and our friends still want to go shopping on top of that and do other adventures on top of that, and we're worried that we're going to get burnt out by Tuesday and not have any energy left for the rest of the trip. So we're going to have to focus really hard on making sure that we're pacing ourselves and making sure that we're checking in with ourselves so that we don't end up running out of energy. 3 things I am excited for. I am very, very excited for the Critical Role live show. That is the whole reason we're going to Melbourne. We have been watching them since 2019, and I'm really, really excited. It is going to hopefully be the highlight of the trip, but I'll let you know at the end. The second thing I'm excited for is spending some time with our friends. We're traveling with 3 of our friends. None of them want to be on our channel, so they're not going to be in the vlog, but we are going to be spending a lot of time with them, and it's just going to be fun. It's going to be nice to just all hang out and have a good time. And the third thing I'm excited for is going to see Hadestown. We haven't seen many musicals in person, but we have listened to the Hadestown soundtrack too many times for us to count. We love Greek mythology, we love the musical, and that's going to be really excited. And the 3 things we are hopeful for. We are hopeful that we are able to regulate ourselves. We've brought a lot of different tools to help us regulate. We have a lot of different plans in place with the system and with our friends to help us regulate. And we should be okay. We should be able to manage our symptoms, and even though we know that it's inevitable we'll have flashbacks, it's inevitable we'll have nightmares, we're doing all the right things to make sure that it goes okay. The second thing I'm hopeful for, and this might sound silly, I hope I can find a rock or a trinket to bring back from the Great Ocean Road. We love collecting rocks. We like collecting rocks from different places that we go, and I think that would be really cool because we don't have any rocks from the Great Ocean Road. And the third thing I am hopeful for is for us to have a nice holiday, to have a good holiday with positive associations, knowing that we're a system, checking in with each other, being aware of each other, and just having a good time. The weekend away that we did with our support workers in November was really, really great. That was fantastic. And this trip is longer. It's 5 days, and we don't have support workers with us. We just have our friends, but we still have supports with us, just in a very different capacity. But we're really, really hopeful that it'll be good, and we're very, very excited for that. Okay, with our pre-thoughts done, I'm going to close up filming now, and let's go fly to Melbourne.
As you can probably tell from the montage that you just watched, we got up to a lot, and it was a lot of fun. We had a very, very good time. And I now want to go through and go over the different things that we did and just tell you about our holiday. Stop eating the plastic. It's not for you. So on Sunday, we flew out of our home state and down to Melbourne. We haven't been on a plane since 2019, so we haven't been on a plane since we were aware we were a system. We had a lot of fun. I forgot just how much one of the child parts in our system adores planes. She had an absolute blast. We got a window seat both ways, and it was really, really fun. The only downside is that there was a fuck around with our baggage check-in. We had put in basically hey, we're disabled, these are some things that we struggle with, these are some things that you need to be aware of to the flight people, to Qantas, so that we could make checking in and boarding the plane smoother and easier, so that we could get pre-boarding so that we wouldn't have to deal with lines and all of that sort of thing. However, despite getting there on time to the airport on Sunday, we ended up nearly being late to our flight because the boarding wasn't working, because we needed to go through a person because we'd done this hey, I'm disabled, and they needed to manually approve our baggage check on. And we went to a person and they checked us in, but then they didn't actually do that part of it. And so we just kind of got a little bit dicked around. So then we missed pre-boarding for that because we were nearly running late for the flight, which meant that I had to then deal with lines, which was not so great. On the flight home, though, we were aware that we would have to do this, so we got there a lot earlier. However, they didn't announce the boarding for the plane. They just didn't announce the boarding for the plane, so they didn't announce pre-boarding. They didn't announce who was boarding. So again, we had to deal with lines because they didn't announce who was boarding. But they were very good because the plane, there was a rearrangement of seats a few days before, because apparently there was a flight cancellation or something. And so the four of us friends were sitting one behind each other all through the middle rows. And then when we got to check in, because we got there early, we were hey, is it possible to change this around so that we're at least have someone sitting next to me? And they managed to sort it out so that I was sitting next to one of our friends, and then a few rows behind us, our other two friends were sitting next to each other. So they were very good about that. I'm just frustrated that the pre-boarding got fucked around both times. But that was the only real issue with the flights. The flights themselves were really good. We had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun. I like being in the sky. I like flying. I like being above the clouds. I like watching the land underneath, all of the lights flying back up in the night. So fucking cool, so fucking pretty. Arrived in Melbourne, got an Uber to the hotel that we were staying at. We couldn't actually go into our hotel room till about 4 p.m. and I think it was still before midday at this point. So we checked our bags in and then went and wandered some markets. I only have one very short clip from the markets, but we looked at a bunch of different stuff. My friends brought some different things that they all really, really enjoyed. We went out for lunch, and then we looked at some secondhand stores and some antique stores and just wandered back through the city towards where our hotel was. We walked past the museum, but didn't actually go into the museum because my friends would have to pay. We have a concession card, so we don't have to pay for museum entry, so we ended up going back a different day by ourselves. Sunday wasn't really our vibe. We're not someone who enjoys wandering markets and going shopping, especially as someone who doesn't have a lot of expendable cash. So it wasn't really our vibe. We didn't have the best time on Sunday, but we still enjoyed it. We still enjoyed spending time with our friends. The city is very pretty. The public transport is very overwhelming, and the trams scare us. I don't like trams running down the middle of the road. I'm not a fan. They're also so busy and so expensive. It's 5 times the price for a single trip as it is than where we live, which is utterly ridiculous. But anyway, overall, Sunday was a pretty big success. We still did have fun. We got to hang out with our friends, which was nice. The hotel room was good. We took the fold-out couch bed. There was 2 single beds, a double bed, and then the couch bed. And before we even went on the trip, we were hey guys, it looks like there's a couch bed. We ditched the couch bed. We struggle to sleep in a bed. We've mentioned this before. We don't sleep in our actual bed at home because it fucks with our nightmares and makes them even worse. We still have nightmares, but they're significantly more manageable when it's not a traditional bed. And the same works for couch beds. I don't know why our brain doesn't associate them with being beds as much. So we advocated for ourselves, and before we went on the trip, I was hey guys, we need to be able to sleep in the couch bed to be able to keep ourselves not going insane. So we did that. We had the couch bed. It was a little bit cold because it was fucking Melbourne, but it was still good. Okay, Monday. Monday was probably the best entire day out of the whole trip, and we went on a guided Great Ocean Road tour. It was us, our friends, like the van seated 12 people total, and that included the tour guide. So it was a quite small group, and the tour guide was amazing. So he was in his 60s. Despite it being quite cold, he was wearing like a t-shirt and shorts. He did have a vest on. It was a guided tour, so we talked the whole thing. But he, obviously some of his stories were a bit of a fable, a bit of a story, a bit of a storytelling situation, which he kind of confessed to. But also he did have some really good information, some true information, and he had true information then embellished it to make it a more interesting story. And it was just a good time. Like, he was good to have a chat to. He had a bunch of different information. Like, he was giving other people advice on like where to go. He was like, hey, these are all the great places to eat food, or these are the great coffee stops. These are where not to go because the food's not good or the service isn't good. And he was just lovely. There was a couple of magpies at one of the stops that we went to. And magpies are really, really smart birds. They can recognize faces. They can recognize multiple faces. And so our tour guide hadn't done one of these tours, and I think he said 6 weeks. He'd been away for a bit, and this was his first tour back. We're on this like trip, and like we see multiple magpies along the way, and they just act like magpies do. They just fly in, fly out. They're not fussed about specific people. And then we get to one specific stop where he has his magpie friends, and he whistles out for them, and they come running, and they follow him over this whole little lookout, and he gives them a couple of cashews out of his pocket, and they just adore him. Like, they're visibly, like, he walks somewhere and he calls them and they follow him over. They were really cool. We also, speaking of animals, got to see koalas. We have only ever seen a koala in the wild once before, and it was on the Great Ocean Road it was probably 2014, maybe 2015, and it was the only time we've seen a wild koala before, and we got to see 2 wild koalas on this trip, and it was really, really cool. We love wildlife. We love animals so fucking much. Like, they mean so much to us, and it was really, really cool to get to see some Australian wildlife that we haven't really got to see before. We also saw kangaroos. Again, we love kangaroos, but kangaroos are a lot more common. Kangaroos are kind of everywhere. They used to live on our school oval when we were in high school. Like, we've seen kangaroos, but it was still really cool to see them. We got some, like, quite close to them despite them being wild, and like the tour guide was very good about like, hey, if they're starting to do this behavior, move back, and making sure that the wildlife wasn't being upset by a bunch of people taking photos of them. His good attitudes and the wildlife made it amazing, but it was also really fucking beautiful. Like, the Great Ocean Road is stunning. We love nature a lot, and it's just so cool to see the variation of different habitats and environments along one stretch of road, and to see like the tall trees around the hills, but then once you get to the coastline where the cliffs are, all the really low shrubbery, because obviously there's really high winds and really high waves, and so the shrubbery doesn't grow tall, it just grows really low to the ground. It's everywhere, and it was really, really cool. We also like driving. We can't drive a car, but we like being in a car when it's driving. We like road trips. We like just looking out the window, and it was really, really cool and really pretty, and it was an absolutely amazing day. Then we have Tuesday. Tuesday for us was a pretty chill day. 2 of our friends went out and walked through the city. I think they went to Brunswick. Another of our friends had to stay in the hotel because they had to work from home that day, and we also opted to stay in the hotel because we needed a rest day. Monday was a 12-hour road trip. It was very, very busy, and we knew that we wouldn't have much time to rest on the other day, so we're like, nah, I'm just gonna stay home. I'm gonna read my book. I'm just gonna let myself relax. And we did, and that was good. And then on Tuesday night, we went out and watched Hadestown, which again, really, really fucking cool. Regulus, James, and Merlot all ended up fronting together to watch Hadestown, and there were a couple of other people jumping in and out as well, and they had a really good time. Regulus especially really likes musicals. He's listened to the Hades soundtrack several times, and he had a lot of fun, and James and Merlot also had a lot of fun, and so did everyone else who was involved in watching it, and it was just a good time. It's a fucking beautiful show. The staging was really cool, the lighting was amazing, obviously the songs are really good, the acting was really good, and also there's something about hearing Australian accents in a musical that just, it made it, I don't know how to describe it other than it made it feel like home. So on Wednesday we went to the State Library and we had lunch out. I don't really remember what else we were doing on Wednesday. I think we were just kind of chilling. And then Wednesday night, the whole reason we went to Melbourne was for Critical Role. Oh my God. Critical Role was amazing. We knew it would be. We have adored Critical Role since we started watching in 2019. We have seen all of Campaign 2, all of Campaign 3, not a lot of Campaign 1 admittedly, most of their one-shots, most of like their additional content. We have been in love with Critical Role for years. It is a show that means a lot to us. It holds such an important place in our heart, and we never expected to be able to see them live because obviously they're from the States. And we're like, nah, they're not going to come to Australia. Like, it just wasn't on the table. And then when we found out they were, we were like, no, we are going. I don't care if no one's coming with us. We're going to go and see this. And one of our friends came and saw Critical Role with us. It was just the two of us who went to see this show. But oh my fucking God, it was amazing. I loved it. The outfits were amazing. We knew they would be. They always are. Sam was dressed up as Dame Edna. Tom Cardy, I believe is his name, was like the MC, the opener. And both him and Sam were in very, very shiny outfits. They sung a song together. It was just a really, really fucking good show. And the vibes were there. The vibes were immaculate. Someone in the audience had folded up a bunch of paper swords and gave us a paper origami sword. That was really fucking cool. We nearly started crying at multiple points in time at just the realization that we were there. We were in person seeing them. Like, it was just an absolutely amazing and phenomenal experience. The arena that we were in, I'm pretty sure it was sold out. There was like 11,000 people there. It was insane. The vibes, like the whole audience cheering, the entire cast at the end ended up doing shoeies, which in my opinion is kind of fucking disgusting. I don't understand why Australia is like, hey, I know what we're going to do. We're going to make our performing artists drink alcohol out of the shoe that I've been wearing the whole performance. Bit weird, but still the vibes were good. The vibes were immaculate. It was just a lot of fun and it was so worthwhile going. The trams on the way home though, absolutely fucking not. We're not getting on those things. They do not run extra trams afterwards. It's just the normal trams, which are fucking tiny, trying to get 11,000 people out of the stadium. Stupid. So me and my friend just walked the half an hour home instead because we were not getting on one of those trams. Thursday was our last full day in Melbourne. And on Thursday we went to Sea Life. We've already mentioned we love animals. We love aquariums. Always a good time. The kids also had a good time. A couple of them came out and took a bunch of photos of our friends' favorite animals and sent them to them. And it was a really good time. We got to see Pesto the penguin. He's all grown up now. Still very cute. We got to see a bunch of different fish. Obviously, turtles. Both sea turtles and freshwater turtles. Frogs. There's a crocodile there. Seahorses. A cuttlefish. So many different animals. We got to see their jellyfish nursery, where all the baby jellyfish are born and hatched and raised. It was just really, really cool and a really, really good time. We then split off from our friends. Our friends went to the Immigration Museum. One of our other friends was at the Hellenic Museum, and we ended up back at the State Museum. So all four of us were at 3 different museums, and we just walked around. We walked through the First Nations exhibit. We walked through they had an exhibit from I think it was art students. I can't remember the specific thing, but a bunch of high achieving fashion and storybooks and film and visual art. There was an exhibition of all of that. We also walked through the dinosaur exhibition and the rock, all the rocks and all the different rocks and stuff. And we ended up just at the library reading for a bit because we needed to charge our phone. It was very flat. So we just sat in part of the museum and read our book, which was again really nice. It was relaxing. It was a good vibe. It was really, really pretty. And we don't go on holidays to be constantly doing stuff. We need rest days. If we don't have rest days, we are going to completely crash and burn. But being able to essentially rest, reading our book, having our headphones on, not having to interact socially in the museum was we're engaging in stuff. We're doing stuff we wouldn't be able to do at home, but we're also making sure that we're not burning ourselves out at both ends. And it was really, really good. And then on Thursday night, we went to a lights show where there was a bunch of trees that were lit up. There was a bunch of other statues and stuff that were lit up. One of our favorite ones was they did a fountain, and onto the water spray they projected a bunch of artwork and different animals, and it was really, really fucking cool. It was really, really beautiful. And it was just a lot of fun. Also on Thursday, before the light show, I forgot to mention this, we did an escape room with our friends, which was also really fun. We love escape rooms. We want to do more of them. And it was just overall really good vibes. And then Friday we flew home. So in the morning we went out for breakfast, and then we went back to the hotel and just read our book again while our other 3 friends went back out into the city to do some final bits of shopping at some markets. And then we got an Uber back to the plane and flew back to our home state. I've already kind of mentioned about the flights, so I don't need to go over that again. But yeah, it was really good. We then got picked up from the airport by one of our friends' boyfriends, driven back home, and we got to see our cats. Like, we missed our cats so much, and it was so good to see them, but also it was so worth it to go away. We had a really, really, really good holiday. So at the start of this video, we did like the 3 things we were scared of, the 3 things we were excited for, and the 3 things we were hopeful for. So let's go back over those 9 things and see how they played out. The first thing we were scared of was flashbacks happening that we weren't prepared for, or alters coming out of dormancy that we weren't prepared for, because we were in a city that we haven't visited since we were, 12, 13? So these didn't end up happening. We didn't end up having any major flashbacks. We had a couple of emotional ones. We didn't meet anybody new who came out of dormancy, and even though we had nightmares, they were not too extreme. They were not too disruptive to ourselves or to our friends for that matter. And overall, it went pretty good in that aspect. I think part of it was because we were with people the whole time, and being with people makes us feel more grounded. I think also it was because we had prepared for it, we had talked about it, we had internal plans in place, we had external plans in place. Like, we knew we were prepared for it. And I think the third thing was that we had alters in the system, specifically who were functioning to help keep the holiday fun and carefree and light and enjoyable. And we had people who were near front, who, when somebody was getting dysregulated, were there immediately to offer support and to help them and to offer reassurance and to remind them where they were. And that is a skill that we have been working on for years that we're not always very good at. And it surprised us how easily it came to us over the holiday, how easily we were able to do those reassurances, we were able to do that self-soothing internally rather than having to do it externally. Reflecting back, I think we've been able to do it for a few months even before the holiday. We just didn't realize how effectively we were doing it until we were in a new environment, in a new situation, in an environment where it was needed more often. And instead of us going, no, I don't want to look at that, no, push away, no, don't tell me that, don't share that with me, instead of just pushing it away and then inevitably it building up and making it explode, but like, I know that you're upset, I can feel that you are dysregulated. This is where we are, this is what we're doing, this is who we're with, you are safe, you are okay. We also took some time to like journal and get stuff out and express some of the thoughts that did get a little bit stuck. Overall, it went really, really well. The second thing we were worried about was something bad happening to Brandy and Small when we were away. They were both fine. We kind of knew they would be. It's just that anxiety of every time you leave your pets and you're not there, something could happen. There's always a could, there's always a might be. But nothing did. They're both fine. They're both sleeping in my bed in front of me right now, and they are both very happy that we're home. And the third thing we were worried about was running out of capacity, just getting burnt out, getting exhausted, not having the energy to do the things we wanted to do or to enjoy the things that we wanted to enjoy. And that didn't happen, and I think that's down to 2 major factors. The first was that we did take time to rest. Even when our friends were still doing stuff, we were like, no, we need to sit down and rest. Like, we need to give ourselves a break, and we made sure that we did that. And the second thing that I think really helped was our ADHD medication. It gives us more energy, it makes it easier for us to focus. It's helping, I think, to a degree with our sensory overwhelm, because there's less, I don't know how to explain it, but there's a little bit less just stuff going on in our brain, or at least that our brain is picking up on, and I think that also helped as well. And yes, we're tired now. Yes, we did spend most of Sunday in bed, but we also went out on Sunday to watch a friend's show. Sunday just being yesterday that I'm filming. But Saturday we still had energy. We expected Saturday and Sunday to be entirely wiped out, to not really be able to get out of bed, to not really be able to do anything. And we did still have to rest long on those 2 days. But we still got stuff done, which we weren't expecting, and I'm really proud of us for. And the things we were excited for. The first one being Critical Role. As I've already mentioned, that was amazing. It was so worth it. It was worth the whole trip. It was incredible, and I'm just so fucking happy that we went and that we got to go. The second thing I was excited for was to spend time with friends, which also we got to do, and that was really nice. Not only did we get to spend time as friends as like the group of the 4 of us, We also got to spend one-on-one time with each one of our friends, which was nice, and we got to do different things with them, and we got to enjoy different things with them, and it was just really, really fun, and it was good. And the third thing we were excited for was Hadestown, which, as I've mentioned again, was also really, really fucking good, and the alters who wanted to enjoy it got to enjoy it. Things we were hopeful for. The first was to be able to regulate ourselves, and we did that. I kind of mentioned that when I was discussing fears, but we regulated ourselves really, really well. I'm really proud of ourselves. We still got dysregulated. We still got overwhelmed. There's one photo of us that was taken in the elevator coming back from the Great Ocean Road, and we look so unimpressed with being alive, so unimpressed with being a human. We were quite dysregulated. It was a long day, and despite it being a really fun day, it was still exhausting. But we went out onto the balcony. We were like, hey guys, I need to go and journal. Don't interrupt me. I'll come back in when I'm done. And just wrote out, I think I wrote like 6 pages worth of journaling, like just kept writing. And that helps. We regulated, we grounded ourselves. We managed to sort out some of the feelings and thoughts that we'd had and collect ourselves, came back in and felt better. We made sure that we had fidgets with us so that we were stimming in adaptive ways. We made sure that we had our headphones with us so that we could block out noise when it was too overwhelming. Like, we had all the tools with us, both like literal fidget tools and headphones and sensory tools, and then also like the internal tools and skills, and we used them effectively and we had a good time. The second thing we were hopeful for was to find a rock on the Great Ocean Road, and we forgot to do this. I thought we forgot to do this. Someone else is saying we were told not to take anything because you're not meant to take stuff. You're like visiting like nature and shit. And so we didn't take any for that reason. I just thought we forgot. Apparently we were listening to the tour guide and not taking anything we weren't meant to. So we didn't bring a rock home, unfortunately. No fun rocks for us. But we did see really cool rocks. We have pictures of really cool rocks. We have pictures of really cool cliffs. So I hope that'll have to suffice for whoever really wanted to bring a rock home. And the last thing we were hopeful for was that it was a nice holiday. And it was. We were hoping that we checked in with the system. We were hoping sure that we stayed regulated. We did. It was a good holiday. I'm really proud of us. It was overwhelming at times. There were parts that we didn't enjoy because you're never going to enjoy every single part of every single day. But overall, it was really good. It was the longest holiday we've had in a while. It was the first time we've flown on a plane since 2019. It was the first holiday we've done with like the 3 specific, like we've done holidays with 2 of those friends before and like with another friend, but like it was, I'm not sure what I'm trying to say. It was new, it was different, it was fun, it was a good time. We do need to rest now. I am so glad that we did the holiday, and I'm so glad that we trusted ourselves and that we listened to ourselves. And it was just really, really good. I can feel myself dissociating into La La Land. So I'm going to leave that here with all of you. Thank you all so much for watching. And we'll see you in the next video. Bye.